Stoic philosophy has always been closely associated with the practitioners of our present lives. Although Stoicism itself is already found in the period of Mediterranean history that spans from 323 BCE, after the death of Alexander the Great to 31 BC, which marked the decline of Greece from its peak and the emergence of the Roman Empire as a superpower. According to the Oxford Dictionary, the definition of Stoicism is the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings and without complaint. But what exactly was this definition derived from? At the heart of the Stoic way of living is the ongoing process of developing self-control, exercising clear judgment, and overcoming destructive emotions. It can be said that Stoicism has a lot to do with the way we live in the world by following the flow of nature. Tenets of Stoicism philosophy. Expectations and judgments. Merely expecting something to happen will not make it happen. Witness the huge popularity of the law of attraction, which says that our thoughts attract events into our lives. For many of us, it is difficult to let go of the idea that expecting something to happen will make it happen. Human beings have a natural tendency to pin their hopes for happiness on fulfilled expectations. There is nothing wrong with this in and of itself, as long as we have good reasons to believe that fulfilling an expectation will make us happy, and we take the necessary steps toward fulfilling those expectations. Good reasons might include us knowing from past experience that certain things make us happy. For example, you know from experience that your morning cup of coffee will almost inevitably give you a little bit of happiness. You therefore expect this experience each morning after you finish your yoga and breakfast. The problem of expectation occurs when we expect something to happen without good reasons for that expectation. If you believe that your expectations alone will bring you what you want, you're using magical thinking and setting yourself up for disappointment. This is really obvious when we are talking about coffee. You can't make a cup of coffee just by thinking it into existence. You have to take the necessary steps to make it happen. You have to grind the beans, put the coffee and water in my coffee maker, and push the button. This is less obvious is when our expectations involve other people. Most of us are sane enough to realize that expecting a cup of coffee to materialize from our thoughts is unrealistic. Yet many of us, at some point, have mistakenly believed that expecting other people to behave the way we want will actually make them behave that way. When there's a big gap between what you want or expect and reality, it causes anxiety, frustration, and discord. You can have dreams, hopes, and beliefs, but better that they are sensible. Another way to manage expectations is to occasionally reflect on worst-case scenarios using an exercise called negative visualization. When you are in a tricky situation, think about both the best and worst outcomes, and you'll start conditioning yourself to handle the ups and downs in life. Expecting life to always turn out the way you want is guaranteed to lead to disappointment, because life will not always turn out the way you want it to. And when those unfulfilled expectations involve the failure of other people to behave the way you expect them to, the disappointment also involves resentment. Why is it that we don't get upset when a cup of coffee does not make itself, but we might get upset if someone else does not make us a cup of coffee? Where do we get the sense of power to think that merely expecting others to behave the way we want them to will make them behave that way? And what entitles us to get angry at other people when they fail to meet our expectations? Let go of expectations and find something to be grateful about, even when things do not turn out the way you hoped, and you will experience serenity rather than resentment. I do my thing and you do your thing. I am not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you are not in this world to live up to mine. You are you, and I am I. And if by chance we find each other, it's beautiful. If not, it can't be helped. Fritz Perls, Gestalt Therapy Verbatim, 1969. Stoicism advises focusing on controlling our own thoughts, actions, and responses rather than trying to control others or their behavior. This approach aligns with the Stoic belief that true contentment and peace of mind come from within, not from external circumstances or other people meeting our expectations.